Hey peeps, welcome back to a special continuation of our previous episode. We talked so much we had to split it up. So if you haven't listened to the previous, go ahead and check that out. If you're all caught up, then you may proceed.
Yeah, I actually do have a real topic we can talk about real quick. Unless you guys want to go. It's up to you.
I got nowhere to go.
So, as most people know, I really like Robin Williams. He's an idol of mine. I feel like most of us in this room enjoy Robin Williams, right? There's not any of us that
fuck
shit
that guy.
Enjoyed.
Oh my god! Oh, you fucking son of a bitch!
Except for his stand-up, because he stole a lot of jokes. So
You stole a lot of jokes.
well, that I'm kind of not really, but yeah, sure, whatever. Go ahead.
Go on. So, do you guys know that he took his own life? Correct.
Yes.
On August 11th. Yeah. So a lot of people. So when what brought this up is somebody I was talking about it at work because I got this. We sell this magazine at work. It just goes through his life. You guys can't see it on that you're listening, but it's a magazine. Obviously,
It's got Robin Williams on the cover.
Robin Williams
It's
on the
called
cover.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams, Laughter, Tears, and Tragedy. And it goes through his life or whatever. And people are like, "Oh yeah, he took his life because he was sad and blah 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 blah." Well, that's not exactly true.
Didn't he have some kind of disease?
Yes, and so that's what I kind of want to talk about real quick. We can talk about some other Robin Williams stuff too, but so a lot of people think that he killed himself over depression or it was drugs or whatever. But I stumbled across this movie and it's on Vudu. It's on Vudu for free too, if anybody wants to watch it. It's called Robin's Wish, and it has his wife Samantha on it and a bunch of his friends, like
Coco.
Bobcat Goldthwait and stuff like that.
Coco the gorilla.
No, not Coco the Gorilla. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't put that in there. I wonder if that's in this magazine. I haven't read all of it yet, but anyway. So, have you guys ever heard of Lewy body dementia?
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Justin?
It's named after Louis Body.
Shut up.
So
Robin, during the final years of his life, was having some issues. A lot of it was talked about on the set of Night at the Museum 3, how he was not really himself. He was like forgetting lines and he would just, usually he's over there joking with people, but he would be found off in the corner, kind of just wandering about stuff. And he'd be texting the director, "Hey, was this good? Was it, he was having like almost hallucinations." So they didn't find out until after he died that he had this, what they call Lewy body dementia. What that is a fast progressive, it's always fatal, irreversible disease. And so what happens to you is you have same features and symptoms as Parkinson's disease. You have impaired cognition, sleeping disorders, and visual hallucinations. Like he would be in bed with his wife and just all of a sudden just start flailing, flailing about. They started sleeping in separate rooms towards the end of their lives because obviously she didn't want to get hit in the face, They weren't really sure. They went to the doctors. They said he had Parkinson's disease, which is the beginning stages of this. Like I said, he passed away in 2014, so they didn't really know much about this disease.
it's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Almost.
isn't that crazy? The exact cause is unknown, but it involves widespread deposits of abnormal clumps of protein that form on the neurons of the diseased brain. These clumps affect both the central nervous system and the autonomic nervous system.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Autonomic?
Yeah, something like that. I can't pronounce that word. I'm terrible at this. Anyway, so he was having, like, his friends would even notice his, like, arm would just have, like, weird twitches, stuff like that. Like, his brain wasn't really, and he was, he would start freaking out, like, what's happening to me? He would always tell his wife, "I just want to reset my brain. I just want to reset my brain." He knew something was going on in his head, but nobody could diagnose exactly what that was. Once they found out what he had, doctors were actually amazed he could even walk. It was one of the worst cases they had ever seen. The wife says that even if he had that diagnosis, it probably would have given him more peace because what was going on in his head was a lot of delusions. He would wake up in the middle of the night and go to his wife and he's like, "I hope my friend's okay. I hope my friend's okay. I hope Mort, is he okay? Okay, I got to call him. Is he okay?" And he would call Mort or text Mort and, it's 2 a.m, so he's probably asleep. He's not getting these messages. And Robin would start freaking out. "I feel like he's dying. I have to go do this and this." But in the morning, he'd get all these messages. He's perfectly fine.
Is this part of that movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They talk about this in that Robin's Wish. Like I said, it's on Vudu for free. I was going to tell you guys to watch it so we can discuss it, but we had to watch Black Dynamite. So which was nice.
Same thing.
Yeah. So he had, like I said, he had worried. He said he wanted to reduce his brain. He was always suffering. He even had he would follow his wife. So his wife's a painter, if you guys don't know, a great painter actually. And she had her own studio, and he would follow her around in the rooms and would just stand there, and almost like he shut off. He would just stand there and just stare off into space, and then all of a sudden come back and have thoughts that, hey, maybe my wife's stepping out on me and stuff like that. He was really his brain was just eating him away at the inside. And I can't imagine even going through that would be just terrifying. You having all these thoughts and not knowing where they're coming from and stuff like that.
And he was aware of these thoughts?
Kind of. He knew something was wrong, but he didn't know. That's why he would always say, I want to reboot my brain. I want to reboot my brain. So he used to go to the Throckmorton Improv Center, and his friends were noticing that he was doing that less and less. He loved bike riding. I don't know if you guys know, he lived in this suburb, basically. He didn't want to live in the fancy houses. He lived in a community where his neighbors are normal people like us. They would see him walking around. Oh, hey, Robin, how you doing? He loved to be normal.
He's actually really skilled too. Probably my favorite Robin Williams movie. He's actually doing some flat ground tricking and all that in Jack, where he's riding on the side and all that. And it's for an old guy, I was that right on.
Yeah, like I said already, at Night at the Museum 3, everybody really noticed about it. And the weird thing to me is, even the director, he's there's 200 people on set for this movie or whatever, and everybody's noticing this, but they kept it under wraps. Nobody's going to tabloids and be like, Robin Williams is forgetting lines and he's acting weird and he's, questioning everything he's doing and stuff like that. He used to ride with his buddy Johnny Steele all the time, and they would be riding. He said one time he was riding bikes, and he always called people boss, and he'd be like, hey boss, you got the time? And that was not something he would normally ask what time it was, because they would go ride 20, 50 miles on a good day, just riding bikes. Robin Williams loved to ride bikes. And so one day he's like, yeah, do you got the time? He's like, oh, about 1:30 or whatever. And then about 45 seconds, he'd ask it again. Hey boss, you got the time? Same thing. And he said another minute and a half would go by, and he'd ask the same question. And then at one point he realized he's getting, 20 yards ahead of him, 40 yards ahead of him. He's 100 yards ahead of his friend Johnny. And Johnny's trying to catch up, and they get all the way back home. He's like, okay, well, I got stuff to do. Hope you don't mind. I got to go. He was just slowly falling apart. And it's I don't know what that would be like to experience that. What if you saw Justin doing that? You know what I mean? That's scary to me, not knowing, especially.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because obviously he's not here anymore, so you can't really ask him questions and find out more information about it. But you could tell, that picture, the last known picture of him before he committed suicide, I feel like was he at a Dairy Queen or something like that, and one of the employees took a picture with him, and something you could just see, he didn't even look like he was himself in that picture. He wasn't there. He didn't have a smile on his face. He was
losing a lot of weight too. His friends were like, I can see your ribs through your shirt and stuff. He's like, I don't know, boss. I'm not doing it.
And it's probably, I wonder, people obviously seen physically, he was changing, but with a person, I was going to make a joke when you said about Justin, what if he started saying weird shit like that? I'm like, well, Justin says weird shit all the time. So I wouldn't know, but you kind of wonder with Robin Williams, because the type of person he was, always a jokester, especially you're saying about how he's just what time is it, boss? And then 45 seconds later, he asks it again. It's person can be oh, this is just him fucking with me and stuff. Right. So it's kind of makes you wonder if a lot of people even wondered if something was really wrong with him, or if it's just him goofing
right, because
around.
some of that stuff might not even hit you until after you find out that this disease is hitting your brain. It's all of a sudden,
I think you kind of.
So that would be weird. Oh, that makes more sense now, or stuff like that.
I think you do kind of see things differently. I mean, taking it from the perspective of Robin himself. I mean, I don't know when exactly he found out about this. He knew his diagnosis?
No, he didn't. He never knew his diagnosis. Right. They found out after an autopsy.
Okay. So even still, though, I mean, if you know that there's something seriously wrong with you, I can't fault him for taking the route that he did.
He thought he mainly had Parkinson's is what was doing it.
But even still, I mean, he's doing things on his own terms and whatever. And it's well, you see, if you want to call it damage or harm that he's doing, I mean, there is a bit of physical harm and stuff like that. And it's all the best that was able to do, he's already done. So I mean, like, he's lived a few lifetimes, I would say, with how much he's contributed. I mean, he's
even come back from alcoholism and depression and all those things, which is why, you know, when you immediately hear somebody committed suicide, they hang themselves, you go to those things that he had in his past. It's the media too. Right. They want to be the first to report something, and they don't care about the facts. But again, nobody knew this until he passed away in August, and the autopsy didn't even come out until November. You know, so. Did you
mention how rare this form of dementia was?
I did, but I don't remember.
It's like 1 in 4,000.
Hold on, I can find that information out.
Well, there's a type of that happens a lot with dementia patients as well, and I don't know if it might have affected him a lot with dementia patients. It's called sundowner syndrome. It's where their days and nights start to flip on them, and it drives a lot of people crazy because they can't sleep at night anymore. They're very fatigued during the day, but like they're physically unable to sleep at night. And
so this article here, this is actually from Parkinson's.org. Approximately 1.3 million Americans have Lewy body dementia, but may not be correctly diagnosed because many doctors are unfamiliar with it.
It's
that's a big number.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's just, it sucks too, because like when you're dealing with the brain, I mean, like usually if you fuck with the brain, you're never the same, but even having like diseases and stuff that kind of affect that, it's like your neural network re-scrambles itself. And it's like, for somebody who knows that there's something wrong, I mean, like when you walk into a room and like, I mean, we all have this like just brain farts and stuff like that, where it's like, what the fuck am I doing here? And then when it comes more periodic and you're like, okay, now something's going on. Like, I mean, you do have to get yourself checked out because it could be anything. That's how people find out if they have like tumors or some sort of like cancer or whatever. But I mean, having certain brain things that do affect the body. Like when I was doing personal training, I've helped a few people who had more physical restraints and stuff, like somebody being curled up or whatever, and you have to exercise that to give them a little bit, you know, of movement or something like that, so they can go back to something more normal or whatever. And it's like, it's very rewarding. But when it comes to like your brain, it's really hard, except for trying to stay active. And for a guy who's constantly doing something, you know, he's writing material, he's acting, he's doing, I mean, like,
he's hiking, he's going bike rides all the time with his wife. Like he's constantly doing
stuff like that is supposed to stave off the detrimental factors. But with a disease or something like that, it's like you have no control over it. And sometimes when it gets so far, they can be just.
And it's not like you can just reboot your brain, because that's what your brain is. It's just a computer for your body, basically. And you can't just like unplug it, plug it back in, and everything's fine. Or, you know,
it's like, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Did you blow into the cartridge?
Yeah. What was his last stand-up? I mean, I'm pretty sure he was doing stand-up, wasn't he?
Not sure. I know like I said, his last movie was Night at the Museum 3, which actually came out in November after he died.
Because I remember reading
the director obviously did not have a fun time on the press tour for that.
Right. But I mean, like, I remember reading something about
the last scene of that movie is even more heartbreaking when you know he passed away. It's like him and
he goes
Ben
back
Stiller. They know they're never going to see each other again, but like you didn't really realize that was going to be real life. You'd never see him again. But sorry, what were you saying?
I'm pretty sure it was Robin Williams, but I thought it was something I read about him. I mean, like, his last recorded stand-up was probably way back, but he was still doing like certain halls and
he would love to go to improv with his friends all the time, and that's what some of them started noticing. Like I said, he would go less and less. It would be like, nah, I'm too tired to go or whatever, and people just thought, you know, he was getting old. I mean, he was 63 years old when he passed away. So I mean, you doing a bunch of stuff, and
that's crazy to think he'd be almost 73 if he was still around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
He'd be about due for another kid if he was Robert De Niro.
Zelda.
Did you fuck my wife?
Oh, God.
Here we go again. But yeah, a lot of I said a few of the symptoms, but a lot of them are dementia, visual hallucinations, frequent variations from cognitive ability, attention, or alertness. There are also changes in walking or movement, a sleep disorder, like I said, where they physically act out their dreams. It's just insane. Like,
when you have a laundry list of something, I mean, again, I can't fault people who want to just,
Right.
like there's something, medication can only do so much.
Right. And this is fatality rate is 100%.
Right.
So like, you know,
fatality rate with everything is 100%.
well, you know what I mean, but
It's just
irreversible. They don't have a cure for this.
And it's like, I get what you're saying. Like, you understand why they would go that route. But at the same time, it's, the people that you're leaving behind, your family and stuff, like,
well, that's kind of what
to discover them like dead, that they killed themselves. I mean, that would be a lot more
Either way,
harsh
I think
than like, I would rather know that they have something that's terminal that's going to kill them, just so you can prepare for it mentally. I mean, it's still going to suck. I mean, like when my dad passed away, we knew it was coming, but it's like,
everything
when it still happens, it sucks. But you knew, but it's just like, if I would have come home one day to discover my dad blew his brains out or something like that, then it's like, oh my, that visually and mentally would fuck you over.
Yeah. I think there's a selfishness on both parts, though. It's like a lot of people say it's selfish for you to take your life and it hurts the people around you, but it's also selfish for us to like have you hold on to that pain just to please.
Right. And that's what his wife said. He's like, once we found out all this stuff, it eases her grief and her pain. And obviously, he didn't want to, but he also didn't want this disease to prevent him from doing the things he likes. The bike riding, the improv, the spending time with his wife. He and his wife were fucking incredibly in love.
Right.
I mean, it's a selfish act and it's a non-selfish act at the same time. Like, yes, you're selfishly taking yourself away from the people who love you, but at the same sense, you're also taking away of the ones who love you having to watch you deteriorate in front of their eyes.
Yes.
He doesn't come off as a person who wants to burden others. He's always been the sad clown in a sense. And
Robin's been a great person. I mean, he on every movie set he has, he asked them to hire homeless people around the area just to get them a job, get them a couple meals. He'd have 10 to 12 homeless people just on set doing, holding the mic, boom mic, or whatever, just random things, just to get these guys a meal and some money in their pockets. That's what Robin Williams
see it that
does.
way, but I can see it like get the homeless guy because fuck him,
Well, also, there's cheap labor, I guess. No. He used to love going to overseas. And in that Robin's Wish, they talked about how he went overseas and there was this guy who got blown to hell. His legs are gone and like half of his arm and shit. And his girlfriend left. He's like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not going to be a part of this. And unfortunately, that happens all too often. And Robin he went there and he sat with him for an hour and a half and told him all his fears and, just tried to put that guy at ease. And he would do this with these guys all the time when he went over there. And it's just like, there needs to be more Robins in the world, honestly.
And that's what the Metallica song 1 is about.
Robin Williams?
What?
Elaborate?
Where he's like talking about the landmines taking his...
Oh.
Is that guy talking to Robin Williams?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Well, the joke's not if it doesn't land.
I know. We're all like,
let it go.
Well, Justin's
I'd
like,
rather take silence than, huh?
well, Justin's like
explain.
Robin Williams, and you're just like, I'm like, what? I thought
It took
this
me
was
a
for
second
real.
to get there.
Thought you guys see there's a writer's strike. I'm having to do this shit on my own, guys.
So where did you say Robin's Wish is at?
It is on Vudu, and I heard it was on Prime, but I have not double checked that yet myself. I can act right now.
There's actually
it's on Vudu. It does have commercials, but it's free. There's like 3. I don't like when Vudu has commercials because it'll cut it in like the middle of somebody's sentence. It'll be like, So, Robin had, and
It's kind of like Tom Hanks always has like these.
No,
awesome,
Robin Williams.
Okay, awesome movies where like he has this sort of a falling period where he has to kind of like build
you
himself
can rent
back
or buy
up.
it on Amazon. It's free on Vudu.
Robin Williams also has like this sort of niche in certain movies where he has to depart some sort of wisdom in a lot of the movies. Like that's one of the things that really helped me. I mean, like he's up there with like the Bob Rosses and the Mr. Rogers and stuff like that, where it's like I learned a lot from you growing up.
Yeah, I remember.
It's funny you say that. I have all 3 of those next to each other on
Ross.
Funkos.
Oh, nice.
I have a Funko of Mr. Rogers, and well, it's him from Jumanji, Robin from Jumanji, but it's kind of weird you said that.
So I said my favorite movie was Jack, and like that closing monologue upon his graduation, talking about how like the how fast life is, or the frailty of life. It can be gone in a flash and stuff. It's like that was one of the biggest things. And even like the Patch Adams. I know Patch Adams gets a lot of flack, but I really love that movie.
It's a good movie. Great movie. I actually just rewatched, because I watched this Robin's Wish. I would watch this Robin's Wish, and I would go on YouTube, and like Variety and GQ have like celebrities, and they go over their like their important roles, and they tell stories. And they were talking about Good Will Hunting, which, you know, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon wrote, and basically no studio wanted to greenlight it that much until Robin read the script and signed on for it. And he's like, of course, everybody, you know, it was 1997, so everybody wanted to work for fucking Robin Williams.
Captain.
Yeah. And so then, because of when they were shooting on that, they went to something with Steven Spielberg was there. And so he introduced Steven Spielberg to Matt Damon, and that kind of is how Matt Damon got into Saving Private Ryan, because they met each other, and he was like, you know, when we were talking about casting for this movie, I was like, it's got to be a Matt Damon type of guy. And then they got Matt Damon to do it. So he kind of indirectly thanks Robin Williams for basically his career.
I just remember after Robin passed away, I think it's a video I watched on YouTube, and they were interviewing a bunch of people that had worked with Robin Williams. And it was very, very sad, because it was like, especially when they got to the interviewing the actors and actresses that were in Hook and Mrs. Doubtfire, and just the stories they were telling about how, you know, Robin pulled them off to the side. And especially, I think in Hook, like there was something to do with this kid whose like parents had passed away. I don't know, but it was very sad, and like, you know, one of those heartfelt, made me kind of like tear up a little bit, just because, you know, Robin Williams meant so much to so many people. And it's crazy that was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
August 11th, 2014.
I'm definitely going to watch.
That's one of the like literally only celebrity deaths that literally affected my life. Like I said, he was a role model to me. Him and my grandfather are where I get my humor from, and where I get my, you know, when I'm having a shitty day, I honestly do go think, you know, WWRD, what would Robin do? You know, and it doesn't, I don't act like Robin Williams would, because I'm not that happy and I don't have that much energy, and the world does suck, but it calms me down a little bit more, you know, if that makes any sense to anybody. But
it kind of makes you wonder if he was still around, didn't get that disease or anything like that, what his movie career would be like nowadays. What roles would he have played since then?
He played a lot of darker roles.
Do you think he would still be acting, or do you think he would have taken off at this point to retire and spend the rest of his life?
Mrs. Doubtfire 3 would have came out probably.
I'd say
that. I would too.
I think he'd be in the same scenario as like Tom Hanks is. He's like doing more experimental roles.
Yeah. Towards the end of this movie, he had a lot of those, and I watched them, and they're just different Robin Williams movies.
What's that movie called where he had to curate people's lives at the end? He was like he would make like memory tracks of the dead people.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Shut up.
Sure.
Toodaloo.
There's a movie he had called Boulevard, which is one of his last movies, where he plays like this married guy who goes and gets like a male prostitute, and basically like falls in love with this male prostitute. Like, it was just way different than like a Flubber or a Mrs. Doubtfire, or you know what
Justin's
I mean?
quickly looking that up.
It's called Boulevard. It was very easy because
watching it, Justin,
right after he died, I literally printed off his fucking movie list and was like, okay, which ones haven't I seen? I need to see these ones. Which brings me to my last part of this.
The Final Cut. I think that's what it is.
Oh, yes, that one is weird. It's not one of my favorites.
I
1 hour
like
photo's a little better.
Yeah, I'd
they
agree.
came out around the same time.
The idea, I think, was kind of cool, and I feel like that's kind of what we're going to be going into. Whereas, like, where we're putting more of our lives more online, where it's easier to like curate something for others. But this is more tapping into the brain.
Yeah, that was weird. So the last part of this segment, we'll wrap it up here. I want to know your guys' Mount Rushmore of Robin Williams movies.
Like I said, Jack, What Dreams May Come. I would even put Patch Adams up there. And a fourth one. Ooh.
It's hard to do just 4.
That it is. I don't know if I want to pick an animation, because I mean, like, his voice is something. His voice is definitely profound.
Aladdin's up there for me, because just watching the stuff they didn't use in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Just editors trying to keep up with, not ruining by laughing, kind of like we do in Unemployed.
Even
but
as heartfelt and, wholesome. What do they say? They said they could have made like a whole other movie with just his.
Just go to Wiki and do list of Robin Williams performances. It's on there. That's what I have pulled up right now.
It actually might be Aladdin. I wouldn't say Jumanji.
We'll give you guys
a
second to look it up. You can edit it and post how long this takes to look up.
Don't tell me what to do.
I know like at least 2 on the list.
There's so many for me. It's super hard. And so that's why I was kind of curious about your guys's actually. Because there's so many. Like I said, I just rewatched Good Will Hunting and he's so good in that movie. There's a reason he won the Oscar for that movie. Did you know, quick little fact here while you guys are looking those up. He won the award for Best Supporting Actor for Good Will Hunting. He actually sent a replica of the Oscar to the guy who dubbed his voice in Germany. He's like, hey, thanks for making me popular in Germany. Here's a little mini Oscar for you. Which I thought was kind of cool. It sounds very Robin-esque.
All right. So
I didn't know Bobcat Goldthwait was his best man either.
I love Bobcat.
Yeah.
Bobcat, fun fact, was the very first person to step inside the wrestling ring that I bought.
You shut up.
He was, because I got the ring and then I let a company called Lucha Libres and Laughs use it for a show because they were doing it at the Slowdown. And I thought, hey, this would be good practice to see if the ring fits. And he was the MC of it. And so he was the very first person in that ring.
I might have to say John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt from Tu Wong Fu.
So anyway.
Yeah, no, I think I would have to go Hook.
That's an uncredited cameo.
I would to go Hook.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hook is a very good movie. I haven't watched it in a very long time.
All right. For me, that'd be What Dreams May Come, Death to Smoochie, 1 Hour Photo, and...
We talked about that earlier, 1 Hour Photo.
1 Hour Photo's
It's fantastic.
Fucking
See episode BPT MR 18.
I also thought it was kind of weird, and this is just my sense of humor, is the Lewy body dementias. One of the symptoms is insomnia, and he was in the movie Insomnia.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, of course. That's what my brain goes when I see that. Which is my favorite director, but that is not one of my favorite Robin Williams movies.
Right. And then, out of everything else,
it's good, but it's not.
Probably Good Will Hunting.
It's so good. Like I said, I rewatched it the other
day. It's hard
day.
not to be one of your favorites.
It's so good.
What about
just because he's so great.
Even Minnie Driver's good in that movie, and I don't like Minnie Driver.
She's annoying.
She gets kind of annoying when she's crying in that movie, but...
You didn't like Jacob the Liar? I feel like that would be your...
There was other ones, like Insomnia was great.
Yeah.
RV was great.
Good Morning Vietnam.
World's Greatest Dad was great. August Rush
you like that
was
one?
Great.
That's a good... Angriest Man in Brooklyn was actually pretty good too.
There's so many that are great, but Good Will Hunting is just it's good.
I feel like Aladdin and Bicentennial Man is relatively the same.
I would
he almost played the same
robots,
exact character.
they're all
they get freed. He gets freed, right? No.
I would have to say my top 4 in Mount Rushmore would be Good Will Hunting, Mrs. Doubtfire, Hook, and then Dead Poets Society.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to argue with any of these. I think if I had to...
And his cameo on Friends.
Oh, one of the best improv scenes ever. And his episode of Law & Order, which I talk about a lot, which is kind of similar to that movie that we...
Special Victims.
What was the... Contingency or whatever? What movie did we review?
Compliance.
Compliance, that's what it's called. Whatever, something. I think mine would have to be Death to Smoochie, Aladdin.
You didn't pick American Idol?
Yeah.
AI.
Given.
AI is good.
Death to Smoochie, Aladdin. Fuck, man, this is hard.
I know, right?
Happy Feet?
No. Jumanji's good. Mrs. Doubtfire's good. I'm going to say good. So Death to Smoochie, Aladdin, Good Will Hunting, and I'm going to go to Mrs. Doubtfire. That was one I watched so many times.
I love that.
When I was little. And
I think
Death to Smoochie is probably my favorite. Rainbow Randolph is probably my favorite character he's ever done. Because he was just, you can tell he wanted to do a character like that. Especially after doing Flubber and, Aladdin and, Mrs. Doubtfire and the Bird Cage.
He had to remind people
of
who he was.
I think Mrs. Doubtfire has one of the best music montages to the Aerosmith. Dude looks like it pumps me up so much. So
That's why you put it in there because of the one song.
Oh no, that's like when somebody says Robin Williams, I automatically think Mrs. Doubtfire. That's the very first thing I think of.
You know what's terrible, but it's still fine. Old Dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not his best, but fuck it at that point. It's like that in RV. It's like,
wait,
why did you do these movies?
Tim Allen one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tim Allen? Oh, for some reason I was thinking
no, it's John Travolta. Yeah, it's John Travolta. There's another one with Tim Allen and who does that one? I know what you're talking about.
I thought it was like Chris Rock and
Tim Allen
or Wild Hogs or something.
That's Wild Hogs.
That's a great movie. That's got Martin Lawrence, John Travolta, Tim Allen, and what the hell is that other guy's name?
He's in Jurassic Park 2, 3.
It's a good movie.
What's his name?
Fuck, I don't know.
William H. Macy.
Yes.
He
was born
on the 4th of July.
July 21st.
You talk about this Robin's Wish documentary. There's actually one that's coming out. Actually, it might be today. Yeah. In 4 minutes, it'll come out on. It's May 11th right now. It'll be May 12th in 4 minutes. But it's on like Apple. It's the documentary about Michael J. Fox called Still. That one looks really good.
That's a fucked up title.
Yeah, he has a similar.
Similar
stuff going on.
He doesn't care about that. Like he's just. It talks about, how he
probably came up with the title.
Oh, yeah. Well, they say like one of the things on the trailer is like there's showing him sitting there with the interview. You can hear the interviewer off camera say, it's just like, so this well-known famous actor gets this debilitating disease and it ends his career. And then it's just like Michael J. Fox pauses and he's like, nah, that sounds boring. And then it's just like he embraces his Parkinson's. And,
I miss Spin City. I wish that was streaming somewhere.
But yeah, it looks very interesting. It looks like it's got a lot of behind the scenes. And he talks about the first thing he noticed when he got Parkinson's was like his pinky was just constantly moving when he woke up one day and it wouldn't stop. And then it just got worse from there.
Did you guys? This is not. It made me just think of that. Bo Jackson hasn't stopped sneezing since July, and
I heard that on the radio.
Cannot fucking figure out why.
That was a segue.
Well, it was just like uncontrollable things that you were talking about. I learned that today on Pat McAfee's show.
Oh, I heard it on
the
big
sports
party show.
That's fucking insane. He does archery too. Like, could you imagine
hiccups? Not
hiccups.
Sneezing,
yeah, it's hiccups, not sneezing. That's right.
He hasn't stopped hiccuping since when?
July of 2022.
And he's now finally going to get it checked out.
Well, no, doctors haven't been able to figure it out. He's like losing sleep and shit.
It's a spat.
They're like, hold your breath.
There's drink out of the other side of the cup.
Daytime talk show or whatever about like some chick who was like in high school way back when. This is probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Hasn't stopped fucking. So.
She had hiccups. She's not a hoe. But no, she had like the hiccups and she's like, yeah, it was funny at first, but like now it's just, it hurts. And yeah.
Well, you'd think if anybody knows about the hiccup thing, Bo would know.
Bo knows hiccups.
Stop right now.
Can you imagine having a conversation?
I guess he's going to go. He's going to undergo a procedure later this week.
Let's see if we can get him. Let's record another episode and see if we can get him on before the next.
You're stupid. Yeah. So okay, hold on. I'm trying to. What's this procedure? Procedure to cure chronic hiccups. Would I say sneezing? That would suck. That'd be fucking. I mean, hiccups ain't exactly a walk in the park either.
I heard something once about like a chronic orgasm, like about people who have chronic orgasms, and like it sounds great. Like when you're like, that sounds great, and then the guy they were interviewing is like, yeah, until I orgasmed at my mom's funeral.
Oh no!
I've seen that, I think, or heard that. What was that off of?
Last podcast.
Okay.
Have you guys ever had
smell the asshole of a porcupine?
Have you ever been orgasming?
And apparently he goes, I've done everything. Scare me, hang me upside down, drink water, smell the asshole of a porcupine.
Wait,
it doesn't work.
He said, what?
Smelled the asshole of a porcupine.
Oh, okay.
That was also the scared him.
Yeah, that's what scared him was that. Oh, fucking shit.
Have you ever orgasmed?
Hopefully Hopefully his procedure goes well.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no hiccups in it.
Oh no. Where the one time you need a sound effect.
I have to scroll over.
You could have done
have you ever orgasmed?
Why are you looking directly?
Because everybody else
Why are
is
you
busy
looking
doing
in your
other shit.
eye?
You're actually like paying attention. But have you ever orgasmed and you thought the orgasm was done and then you had another one?
No.
Like chambered?
Like the post-coital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me not that long ago. I was like, oh, that was good. Wait, what's happening? It's still more.
Was
That
it
was good.
solo or was it?
Sometimes those are the best ones.
Was
you
it
give yourself.
solo? Yeah. When was the last time?
So it's like the movie.
You get
Free
tanged
Solo.
all the time.
Well, no.
This isn't 2004.
2014 was
14.
the best year.
Sorry. His was
It was.
2004. Or 5.
2014 was one
Last
of my
time I
favorite
had
years,
sex?
except for when Robin
No.
Williams died.
It was like the year that you did everything.
Yeah. No, 2003.
2004.
2003
14
or
was
4.
mine.
I don't know.
I went to Vegas. I broke up with Jenny. It's great.
Got back together.
No, that was
What was that?
2013.
Got back together?
Got back together. Then we got apart and then back together again a whole
Yeah.
bunch of times
And all the King's Men.
until I ejaculated.
2014, I was surrounded by women a lot.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Never did anything with a lot
Are
of
you
them.
sure you're not homosexual? It'd be okay. You can admit
I'm
it
not.
on the radio.
I'm not. Hey, if I were just decided I was and I wanted to play for the other team, I'd have way more better luck.
Oh,
Way
same.
more better luck.
Why are you so scared of the dick? You talk about the dick a lot tonight.
There was a
thought-
lot of dick.
I thought
talk.
tonight
all
was
you
the
talked
night.
about.
I think I mentioned it like twice, and you guys kept bringing it up other times.
You had a list of 37 things about dicks, man.
I know.
How to save money so you get more dicks. 37 life-saving dicks tips about dicks.
Oh.
We started with Robin Williams, and this is how we end this.
He would be
segment, talking
proud.
about dicks.
He would be
Oh,
proud.
absolutely.
Is this what it looks like? when
Yeah, I
you're-
was just going to do the same thing. My arm's hairier, though, so it works.
He was
Hey, ladies,
a hairy
do we
man.
look like this to you?
yes.
Anyway,
He meant so much to so
go
many.
check out that movie, Voodoo, free. You can buy it on
Robin's
Prime,
Wish.
too. Robin's Wish.
52 episodes.
3.
52.
This
That's
is
52.
53.
This is 52.
Look it up. It's
we did. I
53.
literally did when you disagreed with
Fucking
him.
loaded one up this morning.
And
Which was
our
51.
next podcast is a movie review, which we're going to be reviewing John's.
2014. Oh, you're playing
Boom,
the...
boom, boom, boom. I can't do it with the music.
This is
on.
where I leave you.
You're right. It's episode 52. Fuck yourselves.
After this will be 53, and you will be correct.
I know.
Unless you're wrong.
I wonder if Oreo's
Skip
still waiting
53.
for me outside.
What the fuck is an Oreo?
The cat that
Oh.
followed me all the way from my car.
No,
to the
Justin.
door.
Where are we going to be at next podcast?
Justin scared it away because he's yelling at the little girl who's playing with the podcast, but she's shit on the porch. So
She's playing with the podcast.
playing with the cat while we were on the podcast.
You just like forgot words there.
Because he made me smell that smelling salt that's wearing off.
Anyway, hopefully you can use that fart I made as a clip.
That better be something
I-
special.
I wonder what that looks like. on your-
I definitely appreciate you producing that.
Hooah.
I can credit where you in Justin's studio here.
You fucking my wife?
What is Lonnie's? Lonnie,
doing it?
whatever you gave Lonnie, he's gone.
He's doing a De Niro Pacino thing. But, all right, guys. Thank you,
Anyway.
guys.
See you on the next one. Bye forever.
Love you. Fuck you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Join us next time for more absurdity that only the guys from the Boundless PodTrap can bring you.